Love happens when souls recognize each other. Love is often described as a feeling, an emotion that rises unexpectedly in the heart, like a sudden spark in the dark. But true love is deeper than emotion. It is not just attraction, not just chemistry, not just the excitement of something new. Real love happens when souls recognize each other. It is a silent knowing, a sacred familiarity, a connection that feels older than time itself. When two souls recognize each other, it feels less like something beginning and more like something continuing. It feels like coming home. There are moments in life when you meet someone for the first time, yet your heart does not treat them as a stranger. There is no awkwardness, no forced conversation. Words flow naturally. Silence feels comfortable. You look into their eyes and feel as though you are being seen beyond your physical appearance, beyond your achievements, beyond your flaws. And in that recognition, something awakens. That awakening is love at the soul level. Soul recognition is not always dramatic. It does not always come with fireworks or grand gestures. Sometimes it arrives quietly. A simple conversation that lingers in your thoughts. A smile that feels strangely meaningful. A presence that brings peace without effort. You may not understand it immediately, but deep within, your spirit whispers, "I know this energy. I know this heart." The world teaches us that love is about compatibility, shared hobbies, similar backgrounds, common goals. While these things are important, soul recognition goes beyond them. Two souls can come from completely different worlds, yet feel deeply connected. Their life stories may not match, but their energies align. Their wounds understand each other. Their dreams resonate on the same frequency. It is not about being identical, it is about being aligned. When souls recognize each other, there is acceptance. You do not feel the need to pretend or perform. You do not feel pressured to impress. You feel safe being your authentic self. Your imperfections are not judged, they are understood. Your fears are not dismissed, they are held gently. Love at this level creates emotional safety, and emotional safety allows love to grow without fear. This kind of love is patient. It does not rush. It does not force outcomes. It unfolds naturally, like a flower blooming in its own time. When two souls are meant to connect, the timing may not always seem perfect, but the connection itself feels divinely guided. It feels orchestrated by something greater than coincidence. You begin to realize that some meetings are not random, they are written. Soul recognition also brings growth. When you meet someone whose soul aligns with yours, they do not just make you happy, they make you better. They challenge you to heal. They inspire you to evolve. They hold a mirror to your strengths and your weaknesses, not to criticize you, but to help you become the highest version of yourself. True soul love does not keep you stagnant. It calls you higher. There is a spiritual dimension to this kind of connection. Many believe that souls travel through lifetimes, learning lessons, forming bonds, and reconnecting when the time is right. Whether one believes in past lives or not, there is something undeniably powerful about meeting someone who feels timeless to you. It feels as if your souls have met before, even if your minds cannot explain how. Soul recognition is also marked by empathy. You feel their pain as if it were your own. Their joy becomes your joy. There is a deep emotional attunement, a sensitivity to each other's inner world. You do not have to explain every feeling. They simply understand. And in that understanding, trust is built naturally. However, soul recognition does not mean the relationship will be easy. In fact, such connections can be intense. When two souls mirror each other, they often trigger hidden wounds and unresolved emotions. But these challenges are not meant to destroy the bond. They are meant to refine it. Growth requires discomfort. Healing requires awareness. When handled with maturity and love, these trials strengthen the connection instead of breaking it. It is important to understand that soul recognition is not always romantic. Sometimes you recognize a soul in a friend, a mentor, or even a stranger who enters your life briefly but leaves a lasting impact. The connection may not be about romance, it may be about purpose. Some souls meet to teach lessons, some meet to support, some meet to transform each other forever. When love happens at the soul level, it changes how you view relationships. You stop chasing superficial attraction. You stop settling for temporary excitement. You begin to seek depth. You crave conversations that touch the spirit. You value emotional intelligence. You appreciate kindness and integrity more than appearances. Your standards rise, not from ego, but from awareness. There is also a profound peace in soul love. Unlike infatuation, which creates anxiety and fear of loss, soul recognition brings calmness. Even if circumstances create distance, there is an inner knowing that what is real cannot be erased. This does not mean you avoid effort. It means you trust the foundation. You understand that genuine connection does not disappear easily. Sometimes, soul recognition happens instantly. Other times it develops slowly over months or years. You may start as strangers, then friends, and gradually realize that something deeper exists. The realization may surprise you, but when it arrives, it feels undeniable. You see the alignment. You understand why your paths crossed. In a world filled with distractions and temporary attachments, soul recognition is rare. It requires emotional maturity, spiritual awareness, and openness. Many people meet potential soul connections, but miss them because they are not ready. Timing matters. Growth matters. Readiness matters. When both souls are prepared, the connection flows effortlessly. Love that happens when souls recognize each other is not dependent on constant communication or physical proximity. Even in silence, the connection remains. Even in distance, the bond feels alive. There is a sense of energetic thread connecting two hearts, invisible yet strong. This kind of love also teaches surrender. You cannot control it. You cannot manufacture it. You cannot force someone's soul to align with yours. When it happens, it is natural. When it does not, no amount of effort can create authenticity. It either exists or it does not. Another sign of soul recognition is vulnerability. You feel safe enough to share your deepest truths, your childhood wounds, your insecurities, your hidden dreams. And instead of rejection, you receive compassion. Instead of judgment, you receive acceptance. Vulnerability becomes strength rather than weakness. Soul love is built on honesty. Masks fall away. Games disappear. Manipulation loses its appeal. You no longer feel the need to impress. You feel the need to connect genuinely. Transparency becomes the foundation. It is also marked by mutual respect. Each soul honors the individuality of the other. There is no attempt to control or possess. Love becomes partnership rather than ownership. Freedom exists within commitment. When souls recognize each other, they often share similar values at the core. They may have different personalities, but their principles align. They believe in kindness. They prioritize truth. This alignment creates long-term stability. Even after conflict, the connection seeks resolution rather than escape. You may disagree, but you do not wish to lose each other. You choose communication over silence. You choose understanding over pride. This willingness to repair is a sign of deep connection. Soul recognition also awakens gratitude. You feel thankful not just for what the person does, but for who they are. Their presence alone feels like a blessing. You realize that not everyone will understand you the way they do, and that awareness deepens appreciation. As life moves forward, responsibilities increase, challenges arise, and seasons change. But when love is rooted in soul recognition, it adapts, it evolves, it matures. Attraction may fluctuate, circumstances may shift, but the foundation remains strong because it was never built only on surface-level feelings. Ultimately, love that happens when souls recognize each other teaches us something sacred. We are not meant to walk this life alone. We are meant to meet certain souls who remind us of who we truly are. They reflect our light when we forget it. They stand beside us when we doubt ourselves. They celebrate our victories and support our healing. This kind of love is not about completing each other as if we are broken halves. It is about two whole souls choosing to walk together. It is about unity without losing individuality. It is about growth, respect, depth, and divine timing. When souls recognize each other, love feels less like a search and more like a discovery, less like a chase and more like alignment, less like uncertainty and more like peace. And in that recognition, two hearts whisper the same silent truth. I have found you. When souls recognize each other, there is often a moment of stillness inside. It is subtle but powerful. The noise of the world fades for a second, and something within you becomes clear. You may not have the right words to describe it, but your intuition understands before your logic does. It feels like destiny gently tapping on your heart. This recognition does not always mean everything will be perfect from the beginning. In fact, sometimes the strongest soul connections begin with confusion. You might resist the intensity. You might question why this person affects you so deeply. But the depth itself is the sign. Ordinary connections do not shake your spirit. Soul recognition does. There is a magnetic pull in such love, not a toxic attachment, not obsession, but a natural gravitation. You find yourself thinking about them not because you are lonely, but because your energy feels intertwined with theirs. Conversations replay in your mind. Their advice echoes in your decisions. Their presence lingers, even when they are not physically near. Soul recognition also brings clarity about what love truly means. It teaches you that love is not about possession. It is about presence. It is not about controlling someone's path. It is about walking beside them as they grow. When souls recognize each other, they encourage expansion, not restriction. In these connections, communication feels deeper than words. A simple look can convey emotions that paragraphs cannot express. A quiet moment together can feel more meaningful than hours of small talk. There is a shared language of energy, a silent understanding that does not require constant explanation. This kind of love also reshapes your priorities. You begin to value emotional depth over superficial attraction. You start seeking honesty instead of perfection. You realize that true connection is not about finding someone flawless, but about finding someone real. Someone whose soul resonates with yours in truth. When souls recognize each other, forgiveness becomes easier. Not because mistakes do not hurt, but because the connection is valued more than ego. Pride takes a back seat to understanding. Both people are willing to listen, to reflect, to improve. Growth becomes mutual. There is also a divine timing in soul recognition. Sometimes you meet the right soul at the wrong time. Sometimes you need to grow separately before you can grow together. But when the timing aligns, the connection feels effortless. Doors open naturally. Circumstances shift unexpectedly. It feels as though the universe is cooperating with your union. Soul recognition teaches patience. It reminds you that meaningful love cannot be rushed. It unfolds layer by layer, revealing deeper truths as trust builds. The more you share, the stronger the bond becomes. The more you heal, the deeper you connect. This love also strengthens resilience. When life brings challenges, financial struggles, emotional stress, personal doubts, you face them as a team. You do not see each other as opponents. You see the problem as the opponent. That shift in perspective protects the relationship from unnecessary damage. Another powerful aspect of soul recognition is inspiration. When you are connected at the soul level, you inspire each other to pursue dreams fearlessly. You support ambitions without jealousy. You celebrate achievements without competition. Your partner's success feels like your own victory. Soul love also creates balance. Where one is strong, the other may be gentle. Where one feels uncertain, the other provides stability. It is not about fixing each other, but about complementing each other's energies. Together, you feel stronger than apart. Sometimes, soul recognition happens after heartbreak. After disappointments and lessons, you finally meet someone who feels different. Not because they are perfect, but because they are aligned. You notice the difference immediately. There is no chaos, no constant guessing. There is clarity. This kind of love also deepens spirituality. You begin to see relationships not as random accidents, but as purposeful encounters. You believe that certain souls enter your life for growth, healing, and transformation. Love becomes sacred, not casual. When souls recognize each other, there is gratitude even in silence. You do not always need grand romantic gestures. A simple presence is enough. Sitting together peacefully feels fulfilling. Sharing everyday moments feels meaningful. Even separation cannot erase soul recognition. If distance comes, the connection remains in memory and spirit. You carry the lessons, the growth, the love within you. And if life brings you back together, the recognition returns instantly, as if no time has passed. Soul love also requires courage. It asks you to be vulnerable. It asks you to trust. It asks you to let go of past fears and open your heart again. But when the connection is real, the risk feels worth it. You begin to understand that not every strong attraction is soul recognition. Some connections are lessons. Some are temporary. But when souls truly recognize each other, the foundation feels different. It is steady. It is deep. It is peaceful. There is a sense of belonging in such love. Not ownership, not dependency, but belonging. You feel understood in ways you did not know you needed. You feel accepted without conditions. You feel valued for your essence, not just your achievements. As time passes, the love matures. Passion may evolve. Excitement may transform, but the recognition remains. It becomes quieter, deeper, more stable. It becomes a partnership rooted in respect and loyalty. When souls recognize each other, love becomes more than romance. It becomes purpose. It becomes support. It becomes a journey shared by two conscious hearts. And perhaps the most beautiful part of all is this. Soul recognition reminds you that love is not something you chase endlessly. It is something you align with. When you grow into your authentic self, when you heal your wounds, when you open your heart without fear, you naturally attract the soul that recognizes yours. Love happens when souls recognize each other not by chance, but by alignment. Not by force, but by destiny. Not by illusion, but by truth. And when that recognition happens, you don't just fall in love, you awaken to it.